Tinaas po natin ang alerto mula sa alert level number 2 to alert level number 3. Ibig sabihin magmatic unrest kaninang 3:37. This means that there is magmatic intrusion at the main crater na pwede pong mag-drive ng succeeding eruption. Pwede rin namang mag-escalate. Pero so far, wala tayong nakikita na kakaiba doon sa pamamaga ng vulkan. Steady lang. Pero yung taas ng asupre, siyempre, yun yung kakaiba. There is magmatic intrusion at the main crater na pwede pong mag-drive ng succeeding eruption. Sa kasalukuyan, kung ang buga ng ang padpad ng kung ano man ng asupre o di kaya ay yung volcanic plume ay pupunta sa southwest. Palayo po yun sa hindi papuntang Tagaytay.
You heard from Phivolcs Director Renato Solidum as the state volcanologist announced that alert level 3 has been raised over Taal Volcano. The warning means that a hazardous eruption is possible within days to weeks.
The Disaster Bureau in southern Luzon has already gathered concerned LGUs to prepare for evacuation, especially in high-risk areas such as Laurel and Agoncillo. Phivolcs also reiterates the volcano island is still a permanent danger zone. Good evening, I'm Gretchen Ho.
And I'm Robbie Alampay. You're watching The Big Story. Let's start with Phivolcs raising alert level 3 over Taal Volcano in Batangas due to magmatic unrest.
State volcanologists warn a hazardous eruption is possible within days to weeks. Romel Lopez has the big story.
Residents of Barangay Kiling and Talisay, Batangas went out of their houses in panic. They have just learned about the news. Taal Volcano just had an eruption.
Nag-aalala rin dahil kailangan maghanda rin po ang mga tao. Baka ho bigla kang magwalang nga na naman. Malalaman ang pupuntahan ang pandemic.
In its bulletin, Phivolcs said Taal Volcano's main crater generated a short-lived dark preto-magmatic plume at 3:16 p.m. This means the eruption has both magma and water said to have interact explosively.
Tinaas po natin ang alerto mula sa alert level number 2 to alert level number 3. Ibig sabihin magmatic unrest kaninang 3:37. This means that there is magmatic intrusion at the main crater na pwede pong mag-drive ng succeeding eruption.
Ang magma po at ang tubig ay nagdampi. Nagkaroon na po ng contact. Kaya po ang tubig po ay bigla po siyang nako-convert sa gas. At yung conversion na ito ay sobrang bilis. Sa sobrang bilis, ito po ay nakakapaglikha ng tinatawag na shockwave.
In fact, there were already telltale signs. In the past few days, Taal Volcano has been emitting volcanic smog or VOG, which has reached Metro Manila. The livelihood of fishermen in Batangas has been disrupted.
Kaya lang kami napatigil ng ganito, ilang araw nang wala. Pagka talagang ko na, nauwi na kami, baka kalo nga mag-arboroto.
This morning, huge plumes can be seen billowing out of the volcano from afar. Tagaytay Ridge appeared to be invisible as fog enveloped the skies. The Taal Volcano Observatory warned of the potential health risks by inhaling the fog.
Mas maigi po na mag-ingat po tayong lahat, magsuot ng N95 mask, tapos wag na lang po lumabas ng bahay.
For now, Phivolcs advised community around Taal Lake to be vigilant of possible lake water disturbances. It also reiterated Taal Volcano Island remains off limits as it is a permanent danger zone.
How many times has Taal Volcano erupted in the past? Tonight's big number is 35. That's the number of Taal eruptions during its recorded history that dates back from 1572, or to 1572 rather. Prior to its 35th eruption in January last year, Taal Volcano was inactive for 43 years, but volcanic unrest was recorded in the years 2011, 2012, and 2014.
These are the other big stories tonight. With COVID infection growth rate already in the negative territory, the Health Department declares that the Philippines is now tagged as low risk for COVID-19. As he enters his last year as Chief Executive, President Rodrigo Duterte says count him in as a candidate for Vice President to maintain equilibrium. And it may have been a tough loss, but the young Gilas squad still pushed world number 5 Serbia to its limits. These big stories after the break.
Dr. Bornas? Doktor ba? Miss Bornas?
Hindi pa po, Doktor.
Okay. How should I refer to you? Just Miss
Mariton na lang po,
Mariton
Mariton.
Bornas. Okay. Thank you. You're watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay. Let's go back to our top story to explain to us more details on Taal Volcano's recent activity. We have with us Maria Antonia Bornas, Mariton Bornas, head of Phivolcs Volcano Monitoring and Eruption Division. Ms. Bornas, welcome to The Big Story.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me po, sir.
Ma'am, naalala ko lang to. I hope I remember this right. Last year, phreatic. Ngayon, sabi nyo, phreatomagmatic. Am I getting that right? What's the difference po?
That is incorrect. No?
Okay.
Yung eruption po last year started with a phreatic activity, phreatic eruption, but it rapidly progressed into a phreatomagmatic eruption.
Yung ngayon po?
Phreatomagmatic din po. So, yung last year, medyo explosive po na phreatomagmatic yun, medyo malaki. No? To the point na para na nga po siyang maliit na Plinian eruption. No? But it was actually mainly a phreatomagmatic eruption na very explosive. So, it's the same except yung ngayon po ay mas mabagal po kasi ang akyat ng magma. No? So, kung mapapansin niyo po last year, dire-diretso po kasi yung pagputok ng bulkan. No? Dire-diretso po yung supply ng magma. And it was really a very, very energetic eruption. No? Marami pong earthquakes, extreme ground deformation, may fissuring. So, very energetic. Yung ngayon po kasi ay phreatomagmatic pero napakabagal po ng supply ng magma sa sa eruption source, no? Doon sa kung saan po tayo nagkakaroon ng eruption. So, naninigas yung magma at very sporadic po ang ang pag-supply ng magma doon sa pinaglalabasan ng eruption. Hindi po tayo masyadong pressurized sa Taal, hindi po masyadong pressurized yung system. Dahil nagpumutok na nga po ito ng malakas last year at ang pinag-uusapan po natin nilalabas na magma ngayon ay galing lamang po sa mababaw na source sa ilalim ng bulkan. Hindi po katulad ng last year. No?
So kung pagsama-sama po natin yon, mas mabagal ang pag-akyat ng magma, mas sporadic, mas mababaw, nangangahulugan po ba lahat yan na hindi kasing lakas ng last year, kahit pa binabantayan natin?
Apo, tama po yan. No? Given the current conditions, hindi po tayo hindi po natin ina-expect na kasing lakas po niya yung last year. Na dahil, again, mababaw po ang source, hindi na po highly pressurized, nakapagdegas ng matindi ang ating pong magma, so nababawasan po yung volcanic gas, which is actually the source of explosivity ng eruption. And ang nakikita po natin ngayon na activity, ito po ay dahil sa mabagal na paglabas ng magma sa main crater at pagdampi po, yung pagdampi ng water sa magma. So, kaya po siya sporadic.
Okay. Ms. Bornas, maraming salamat po. That was Phivolcs Volcano Monitoring and Eruption Division Chief Mariton Bornas. Earlier today, 3 people were arrested in Manila after they were caught what were reported to be COVID-19 vaccines. The question is, where did they source the vaccines? Marlene Alcaide with the details.
The Investigation Bureau caught 3 people in the act of selling COVID-19 vaccines. Agents posed as buyers of some 300 doses of Sinovac jabs worth around 840,000 pesos. Among those arrested is a nurse working at Gat Andres Bonifacio Memorial Medical Center. The suspect refused to comment, but this was later confirmed by Manila Mayor Isko Moreno.
He is a confirmed employee of Gat Andres Bonifacio Hospital, and he should go to jail.
Isko, however, clarified that the vaccines did not come from the Manila LGU.
So far, sa initial report, it's not from us. And siguro natakot na rin yung Tolonges. Sa ibang bayan niya binenta. Dahil alam nila na bawal magtinda, bawal kumita.
The NBI believes that they targeted Chinese nationals in particular.
Yung vaccines to, they're offering it dun sa mga Chinese. Because sa Filipino is basically free lang naman yan, di ba? So free lang sa atin. So yung mga Chinese, ang talagang target nila rito na mabigyan vaccines.
The suspects may face 5 to 10 years of imprisonment due to violation of the FDA law. It states that selling of medical supplies not approved commercially is illegal.
This is not the time to be selfish. This is not the time to be greedy. It's time for us to stick together and start caring.
The NBI is expected to call the attention of other agencies as it conducts the probe. For News 5, Marlene Alcaide, we are One News.
The Transportation Department and the LTFRB halted its free rides and service contracting programs. This comes after the expiration of the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act. Where does this leave commuters exactly? Julie Baiza gives us a front seat to the story.
After the Bayanihan 2 law expired on Thursday, funding for the government's Libreng Sakay program has also been suspended.
We supported the move to extend it, but apparently siguro naubos na rin yung oras.
Compared to when the program was still in effect, there were fewer passengers at the EDSA Carousel Monumento on Thursday.
Kahapon, bulto, marami talaga. Ngayon, medyo nabawasan dahil biglang may bayad na ang pagsakay sa bus.
For many passengers, free rides are a big help, especially during this pandemic.
13 pesos po, kung balikan, 26, magkano po yun sa isang buwan? Kung pwede mo na ipangbili ng example, kung may anak ka, diaper o gatas.
Siyempre, nung libreng sakay, sobrang laking tulong niya po.
But others have accepted the program suspension, saying they have had enough free rides over the past few months.
Tsaka din naman ilang months din silang naman nakatulong yung libreng bus
Oo naman, okay lang naman sa akin. Siyempre naman din, magkadabang panahon, makikilibre ka naman.
Bus conductors are also in favor of halting libreng sakay as they can start earning again after months of being on standby.
Pag po libre sakay, ma'am, kami po konduktor, wala pa kaming hanap buhay. Opo. Kasi puro driver lang po, wala pa kaming konduktor.
Ilang buwan po kayo natenga?
Mga 3 months. Sideline lang po. Kung hindi ng sideline, wala po mangyayari.
Hindi kayo pabor sa libreng sakay?
Hindi po, talaga.
On Radio 5's Ted Filon and DJ Chacha, House Transportation Panel Chairman Edgar Sarmiento said that should the program be re-implemented, they are looking to allow bus conductors to return to work so they can assure social distancing among passengers. Though it's no longer in effect, it's clear that libreng sakay is both a blessing and a curse, helping workers save more money on transportation, but on the other hand, snuffed out the livelihoods of conductors in the transport sector. Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
President Duterte has accepted the resignation of Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade, spokesperson of the National Task Force to End Local Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC. Parlade says he tendered his resignation a month ago to ease congressional questions over his appointment to the post. He insists that his appointment was legal and constitutional despite being in active service. Parlade also denies having red tagged within the NTF-ELCAC. He says he is open to another government post should it be offered to him.
I'm open to helping this government in another capacity, but yeah, it all depends on the leadership whether they still they have confidence in me in handling other positions.
Time for our next look at some of the day's big stories. The Philippines is now considered a low-risk area for COVID-19. That's according to the Health Department. In the last 14 days, the virus's growth rate nationwide has been at negative 9%, an improvement from the 15% growth 2 weeks prior. And as for Metro Manila, healthcare utilization rate is already at 37%, while ICU utilization rate is at 41%. The DOH has submitted its budget utilization reports to Senator Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao had accused the DOH of corruption for its purchase of rapid test kits, masks, and PPEs, as well as vaccine loans. Secretary Francisco Duque said it was the Budget Department's procurement arm which purchased medical equipment. And Senator Ping Lacson is still undecided about the 2022 elections. One thing is sure, though, he will not be running under the Isang Bayan ticket. The senator told the chiefs that he was offended by party convener Antonio Carpio's remarks that he is not qualified to be the party's candidate. With 17 delegates to the Tokyo Olympics, the Philippines is hoping to finally catch its first ever gold medal. One athlete in particular who many fans believe could win the gold is Gymnast Carlos Yulo. Let's get to know more about him and his journey to the Summer Games in this video.
From humble beginnings, there is no doubt that Carlos Yulo's journey is nearing the very top. Growing up near the Rizal Memorial Stadium, he would imitate the acrobatics of top gymnasts. He started competing at the age of 8, and by 11, he won 4 gold medals at the Palarong Pambansa. There has been no stopping him since. In 2018, he won 2 silvers and 2 bronze medals at the World Cup Series. Kaloy also became the first male athlete in Southeast Asia to win a medal at the World Artistic Gymnastics Championships when he took home the bronze later that year. The next year, Kaloy bagged the gold and also clinched a spot at the Tokyo Olympics. He also became the most bemedaled athlete at the 2019 Southeast Asian Games with 2 golds and 5 silvers. Kaloy continues to hone his skills in Tokyo, where he has been training since 2016. He is the epitome of the underdog, and everybody loves an underdog story. He also gives the country a good chance at winning its very first Olympic gold medal.
See us stronger. Catch the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 from July 23 to August 8, 2021 here on Signal, official broadcaster of Tokyo 2020.
Signal TV and TV5 along with Smart and PLDT are the official broadcasters of the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. Watch the Olympic Games from July 23 to August 8, 2021 on TV5, One Sports, One Sports Plus, Signal Play, PLDT, and Smart. Get ready to witness the world back in action. Time for another quick break. When we return, the president says consider him as a serious candidate for vice president in next year's polls. He also takes a swipe at party mate Senator Manny Pacquiao. And they may have bowed to Serbia, but hoop fans still cheered on Gilas Pilipinas for putting up a gallant effort against the world number 5. A recap of that match after the break.
Good evening, I'm Robbie Alampay. You're still watching The Big Story. A big increase in LPG prices is expected with higher demand seen globally. Suppliers are warning more price hikes may be in the offing. Shaila Francisco with The Big Story.
This carinderia in Pasig is Michelle's go-to place when at work. She says that aside from its accessibility, meals here are way cheaper than in most restaurants. But this could change soon, no thanks to the big-time LPG price hike.
LPG prices are now up by 5 pesos and 20 centavos per kilogram beginning today. That is equivalent to almost 60 pesos price increase for this 11-kilogram tank. Auto LPG meanwhile has hiked prices by almost 3 pesos per liter.
But Michelle hopes that consumers like her will not be affected by this.
Siyempre mababawasan yung yung nagiging ipon mo, tendency na gano'n na rin ang nangyayari.
Na ano po?
Babawasan mo kung wari, gusto mo ng manok, gagawin mo na lang gulay.
The carinderia she frequents promised not to increase prices. However, they will shoulder the 5 peso increase for every meal. This is a lot for carinderia owner Joylyn, who buys LPG tank every 3 days. Aside from this, she's still dealing with high prices of meat and vegetables.
Ako ang maapektuhan kasi yung kita ko mababawasan. Lahat halos ng bilihin tumaas. Tapos tumaas pa yung gas.
Joylyn said that she will purchase another tank today if she has extra money, as her supplier decided to delay the increase until tomorrow.
Pinapaubos pa namin ang stock namin. Matumal po eh. Simula ng pandemic, matumal po kami. Kalating customer ang nawala sa amin.
LPG suppliers attribute the increase to higher demand in Europe, US, and China as they reopen their economy. Some countries are also stocking up for the winter season. Suppliers warn more price hikes are anticipated in the coming months.
Sa pananaw namin, there's a continuous increase. But in our case, domestically, Philippines, we hope that hindi sana.
Regasco President Arnelti reminded consumers to switch off LPG tanks to avoid leaks when not in use. He also advised the public to use their LPG tanks efficiently to save more gas when cooking. Shaila Francisco, PR1 News.
President Duterte says the public may consider him a candidate for the vice presidency for the meantime. Duterte spoke during the unveiling of the new LRT2 Antipolo station. He said his announcement is to bring, quote, equilibrium at this point heading into election season. The president also took a jab at Senator Manny Pacquiao. He said winning inside the ring does not always translate to a win in politics.
Another big story in sports. Gilas Pilipinas nearly pulled off the improbable. They pushed Serbia to the limit before succumbing to an 83-76 loss in the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament. Gilas defied the odds once more after battling back from a 16-point deficit to even take the lead at 74-73 with 3 minutes and 40 to go in the fourth quarter. But in the end, the Dallas Mavericks big man Boban Marjanovic, who scored 8 of the last 10 points for Serbia, proved to be too much for Gilas. The efforts of the young squad, however, did not go unnoticed, especially from Serbian coach Igor Kokoskov.
I would like to congratulate the Philippine team on playing really good, playing together as a unit. Coach Baldwin was doing a great job. I think his team played really together and they were competing. So.
Many fans were still ecstatic despite the loss as the Philippines vastly improved from its performance in the World Cup back in 2019, where Serbia won by 59 points. Although ruining the missed opportunities, Coach Tab Baldwin lauded the team's effort as they continued to battle throughout the match.
We had chances late. We missed good open looks. They were really good looks, and they would have put Serbia under even more pressure. But you know, sometimes the occasion can be a bit bigger than we are, but that's what the learning process is all about. So I was very proud of the effort today.
Gilas will take on the Dominican Republic later at 2:30 in the morning. You can catch the game live on One Sports.
A group of electrical engineering students from Camarines Sur may have just earned Thesis of the Year. They developed gloves that can interpret Filipino Sign Language and then convert it into speech. The Filipino Sign Language converter has motion sensors which detects finger and hand movements. Over Wi-Fi, it sends data to a computer which then processes the information, turns it into speech. A member of the group said the project will give voice to the deaf and people with speech impediments. For the meantime, it's still rudimentary and would need funding and backing to be fully realized.
Hello. How are you?
And the response is,
I'm fine. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's a game changer.
Oo, ang husay, ano? I mean, I've seen similar projects abroad, but that just goes to show kung kaya nila sa labas, kaya rin natin.
Kayang-kaya, oo. And speaking of kayang-kaya din natin mamaya, Dominican Republic, 2:30 in the morning.
Magpupuyat ka na naman.
Magpupuyat na naman ako. Ikaw rin ba?
Susubukan ko.
Well, it's worth it for sure as we came close to beating Serbia, and hopefully we beat Dominican Republic to get into the semifinals. Catch that later, live on One Sports. That wraps up today's big story. Catch us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250.
Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. Mask on.
Wash hands.
And stay safe, Philippines. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Gretchen Ho. We are One News. Have a good evening.